Hey, everybody. Welcome back once again to the Retro Wrestling Review USWA podcast, coming to you from the Retro Wrestling Archive in Gadsden, Alabama. I'm your host, Gene Jackson, along with producer Smokey behind the scenes, making all this happen. Please help me welcome my co-host. First up, he's the U.S. male. I know that's a reference we ain't heard in a while, but it's Josh Briley from P3 Radio. What's up, Josh?
What's up? What's going on, Gene, man? Sunday morning coming down on you. Got you.
Yeah, I might actually have to edit that. Usually I just let that shit go, but I might have to edit that one. That one's rough.
Oh, just let it flow. Let it flow like a good piss. You doing okay, though?
Oh, man, as good as you can do, being unemployed and having no prospects for 3 weeks now. But we're going to move past that because this will turn into a whole different show if we go down that road.
It's gonna flip back over, Mean Gene. I promise you, it's gonna flip back over.
I appreciate it, and I do appreciate your confidence in that. We're gonna hope you're right, but to get this thing going properly, we got to bring in our other co-host. He's the owner, founder, and president of stspod.club. And he's Jonesboro, Arkansas's current favorite resident. That's right. Spoiler alert. It's Brian Trammell. What's up, BT?
God damn, Gene, you can't do it. You're trying to steal my gimmick. You're unemployed. I did the unemployed gimmick first. God,
I know,
dang.
but I'm taking over now.
I'm in.
We're a team. We're a team. They say.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
We're best
what
friends.
We need to do is get,
so I lost my job in a sign of unity. Now we just got to get Josh to throw in.
Hey, can I throw the tag team name out there?
Oh no!
Please do.
Just maybe like unqualified or like
overqualified is more like it.
That'd be a great gimmick, though.
They won't let us work a place where they think that we're overqualified. We just talking about that. They want you to have a bachelor degree. But then it's crazy. By the way, good morning, y'all, or good afternoon, whenever you're watching this. My best friend, Gene, and my favorite co-host of P3 Radio, Josh. I'm getting Buck, and I'm brought to you by, again, for 3 weeks in a row, Jolly Royal Furniture. Open an account or reopen account today. And also brought to you by, soon coming to the T-shirt shop, Arm Twist Shine. That's right, Arm Twist Shine, baby. And real quick, I'm going to tease before we even get started. I have some Patreon stuff, but we did have a listener message me on Patreon and said, hey, tell your Brian Last story. So I will be telling y'all the history of me and Brian Last. So it'll be fun. I promise you. So there's your Patreon teaser for the day.
Well, there you go. Well, hey, I think a better tag team name would be the No Jobbers.
I get it.
It takes a minute, right? But then when it gets there, you're like, hey, all right. Speaking of that, I think now's a really good time to mention that in the name of not having jobs and trying to stir up some little bit of income and whatnot, we've been me and BT have been busy as bees over there on Patreon. And we've got some cool stuff going on over there. We've got the Retro Wrestling Review CWA podcast, which is a Patreon exclusive podcast where BT and myself are doing a show just like this one, except Josh Briley's not available during the week because he's actually working. But
he has a job.
And never fear, me and BT is going to keep this going even once we get jobs, if we ever do. It's a show with a format just like this one, except we're reviewing old CWA Memphis, and instead of just jumping around like we were for the first couple episodes, we have landed on 1987. So the very first episode in January 3rd, 1987, that one went up on Patreon yesterday on both of our Patreons
at 11 o'clock Central. Man, that's
right
there, like Memphis Wrestling. And Josh, you're not gonna believe this. Gene's letting me steer the ship right now, so he's letting me do it. He's letting me make the clips and steer the ship. So there you go.
That's just what kind of a generous guy I am. Try to be a nice guy. These are going to be dropping every other Saturday. So, admittedly, I know what you're thinking right now. You're like, Jesus Christ, it'll take y'all 2 years to do it. Well, yeah, probably so. But guess what? 1987 is not going to be any older in 2 years than it is right now, other than 2 years. But you get it. So, check that out. I've also got another show coming up, going to debut next Saturday. Myself and my buddy Broadcast Bob Anderson are bringing you the Retro Wrestling Review WCW podcast.
Are you going to debut it at 505? Are you going to do it at 505?
We're strongly considering that. Seems like it makes sense,
awesome.
Right?
That would be awesome.
I think that's what we're going to do. So we're starting with January of 1989. It's going to be a little different. We're going to it's definitely going to be a watch along show. We're going to watch all the Clash of the Champions, all the pay-per-views, and then we'll be picking out random TV matches to watch. So this first episode are going to be random matches from January of 1989, including the famous match where Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert brought in a mystery partner to take on Ric Flair and Barry Windham. Spoiler alert, BT, do you want to say who Eddie Gilbert's partner was?
No, I don't want to tell anyone, so no spoilers.
You don't remember, do you?
No, I don't. Ricky Steamboat?
Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
There we go.
I was going to say, never let it be said BT doesn't want to spoil something. He just didn't know.
I love Ricky
Always
Steamboat,
know that, folks. If BT says he don't want to spoil it, he don't know the answer to the question. That is a spoiler. All right, folks, let's get ready to head back. This is the 78th episode of the Retro Wrestling Review USWA podcast, the one that started it all. And today we're heading back to May 4th, 1991. The title of today's episode is Meet Miss Texas, because that's what we're getting ready to do. Dave Brown opens up the broadcast, and the studio audience seems pretty fired up this week, sounds like, compared to some of the other things we've seen on 85. Me and Ray was watching 1985 Memphis. And boy, that studio, it was like a morgue in there because the talent at the time was just so rough. I mean, we're getting ready. Savage has left, Bruiser Brody has left, Ray Candy has left, and we are getting set for the huge debut of Boda the Witch Doctor, and the fans could give less of a fuck if they tried. So we're going to see, like I said, we're going to see the debut of Miss Texas today, which is fun because we definitely always enjoyed Miss Texas in 1993. We're going to see Eric Embry in action. We're going to see Dr. Tom in action. We're going to see Jeff Jarrett and Robert Fuller in tag team action. Plus, Nightmare Danny Davis and Superstar Bill Dundee in a tag team match against the Texas Hangmen. And Josh, what do they wear on their heads this week?
They got the yeller hoods.
Yeller.
And the fancy pillar tassels on the sides of the tights as well. I can't wait. It's going to be great.
I love that somehow through time and space, our requests make their way back to these guys. And I have reached out to Mean Mike Moran, and I'm going to be reaching out to Bull Payne to try to get an interview with one or both of those guys, because I'd really like to talk to them about this particular stint as a Texas Hangman, as well as a bunch of other cool stuff they did in their careers, obviously, but definitely what we're talking about right now. So we get to open the show, we get Dr. Tom comes marching out along with Eric Embry, and here she is. Miss Texas has arrived.
Oh, and, yeah, baby.
Whew, mercy.
So Dr. Tom wastes no time in running down the Tennessee women and how they've had to bring a lady. He makes a point to say a lady from Texas that looks like a woman, smells like a woman, he says. I don't know. What do you guys have to say about Dr. Tom's introduction of Miss Texas here?
I'm going to tell you something. If Dr. Tom didn't succeed in wrestling, he could have been a pimp, because, dude, he had me. Wow, she is something. He was building her up like she was the first lady of the nation. And you know, she had the looks to back it up too. So that was a great pair. And man, what a fucking way what a way to debut, you know. and she literally is from Texas, and she can whip your ass, and you don't know it yet, but we'll find out later in time.
I love the line because that used to be what I would joke my friends when we go to the bar. I said, if it looks like a woman and smells like a woman, damn it, it's a woman. And then my friend would say, but Brian, and I go, nope, that's the rule. That's the rule. That's it. So yeah, that might have messed up a couple of times for me. But I want to make a real quick note before, if you're going to play the interview with them bringing out Miss Texas.
Yeah,
Eric Embry was actually wearing the Texas title, and they made a mention of it. But 2 weeks ago, Jerry Lawler won the Texas title in Dallas, but just so that they kept everything down, they just overruled that. So he does have the Texas title, but it is official. He is a Texas champion because of outside interference. They overruled Lawler's win over Embry. So there you go. I was like, what the hell is he doing with the title?
Well, you'll learn as we go along in 1991, much like Las Vegas, what happens in Dallas stays in Dallas
yes,
for the most part.
Yes.
We're just going to do our thing in Memphis. You guys do your thing in Dallas, and every once in a while they'll intersect, but not very often. But yeah, folks, if you're watching this show and you watched all of 93 and you thought there was going to be a promo introducing Miss Texas and we weren't going to watch it, well, then you don't know us very well. Check this out. And what I really love, and I don't think I put it all in the clip, but Dave Brown's talking, and then all of a sudden that song starts playing. When I die, may not go to heaven. And Dave has the biggest what the fuck look on his face. He sells it perfect. Check this out.
Surprise for everybody here in the Mid-South area today, because we're going to give all you snaggle-tooth, non-deodorant using, toothless, dip-snuffing women of the Mid-South that need to lose a little weight. We're going to give you a special treat, along with all of your old men that are sitting there right now watching the TV set live and in living color. You're asking yourself, how in the world can you get rid of an old lady like you got beside you now against something like we got? Because we are bringing to you today, from the only state in the union that matters when they cast a vote, we introduce to you, the Mid-South area residents, the way a woman should dress, the way a woman should put on her makeup. And if you could smell her perfume through the television set, you would know the way a woman should smell. Here she is for all of you today. I introduce Miss Texas. Please give her a hand. Huh? What do you think about Miss Texas? Huh?
This is a lady, man. This is a lady. And if they had ladies like this up here, you wouldn't have to get up in the morning and take them out for the walk like you got to take them out in the afternoon on the end of a leash. You know what I'm talking about? This is a lady, Dave Brown. I'm going to go take care of some business.
Go take care of business?
It's almost misleading when he says, this is a lady, man. Is there a comma in there, Eric? What are you telling us here?
Where's Burt Prentice when you need him, man? Come on.
I know lady, man, and she's definitely one, honey. That's Bubba Johnson.
Bubba Johnson.
Now, who could imagine at this moment of this promo that, you know, a couple of years from now, that Burt Prentice is going to be here accusing her of being a man named Bubba Johnson, such as Memphis. But Dr. Rod here laying it on thick, introducing Miss Texas. I couldn't help but notice something here. When you look at Miss Texas in 1991, and then you fast forward to Miss Texas in the later 90s, I guess Miss Texas is young enough here. She was still growing, if you will, going through puberty or something, because there's a lot more up top a few years down the line than there was here. But I mean, I'm not saying she went and got any enhancements done, but you definitely can see the difference.
Oh, come on, dude. You know, as time goes on, you invest in your business, and she invested. That's what she did.
Hey, it paid off for her. It got her to WCW. It got her to the WWE. She finally got to show them things off on a pay-per-view at one point. So good
Man.
for her.
Well, I think about this. We're sitting here watching history of the debut. This lady ended up having a hell of a run everywhere she was at. I mean, you can legit, Hall of Famer to me.
Yeah, absolutely. And you never would have thought that back then, just because, women, it was hard for women to get opportunities, especially one based out of Memphis, so to go on and do all the things that she did, is very impressive. That's somebody I would love to interview, but I don't think that would probably ever happen, especially not if she sees any of the shows we've done. Any of the shows we've done.
Bad boy.
Yeah, but honestly, dude, like we always give her credit.
We do,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
And what was crazy about this whole thing, this is 1991, but when we're watching her in 1993, you can already tell the way she comes across. And I remember even during that time period, 93, in my mind, she's like a fucking Memphis legend. That's 2 years, but people already respected her like that. She was different.
She didn't take any shit off of anybody, but I was shocked the way Sherry come out there and put her in her place. Because boy, I mean, even above like the men, I've never seen anybody manhandle Miss Texas the way that Sherry did. But Sherry's a legend in her own right. So.
Absolutely.
So the first match of the day, flamboyant Eric Embry taking on everybody's favorite Chris Frazier, and me and BT had actually recorded some Patreon stuff yesterday, and I brought this up. I was like, man, what's going on here? Like for weeks, we watched Eric Embry pile drive people off the second rope, nearly killing them, and all of a sudden this week, he finishes off Chris Frazier with a single punch that would have made Johnny B. Bad call him a sissy. Like, it wasn't an impressive punch. And Chris Frazier sells it like he's been shot in the head. Like, what are we doing? And one more thing before I pitch to y'all. Did you notice that all of a sudden, out of the blue, and this is really funny considering what BT was just pointing out a moment ago, somebody has instructed Dave, and everybody else is falling in line, we need to drive home the point that Eric is undefeated Texas champion. He has not been defeated, and he has not lost the Texas title. We're really, really, really driving that home this week, and now he's a knockout artist as well, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I was hoping that maybe it was just the wrong angle, the way the punch looked. And because you're right, for the shit that I've given Chris Frazier about not registering and just kind of being sloppy, he sold it like a motherfucker. He made Eric look great. The punch is what made it look shitty. But like I said, maybe it was the angle or I don't know. But hell, Tom, you could, when he did it, what a punch! I mean, it was he was trying to put
that's a punch right there. What I loved about Chris Frazier's selling of it, and I don't know if somebody used this to illustrate it to him, he sold the punch the way when Apollo Creed took the last punch from Ivan Drago, and he just tips over face first. That's how Chris Frazier sold this punch from Eric, like the death blow from Ivan Drago. So kudos to Chris Frazier. But like you say, from that angle, like I say, if Johnny B. Bad had been there, he'd be like, "Oh, that wasn't pretty," he would have. Sure. So, new finisher for Eric Embry here, I suppose. We'll see how that continues in the weeks. But I guess you can't. If you keep pile driving people off the second rope every week, number one, it's going to lose its luster. And number two,
eventually take it.
I mean, we've gotten lucky so far we've had Bill Rush, we've had oh gosh, what was the other kid's name? I don't know, it's not important, but we had 2 or 3 people.
Todd Johnson did it, didn't he?
That's what I'm searching for. Yes, yeah. Todd Johnson.
Yeah.
While we're here, is there something you want to talk about, BT, or are we going to put that in later?
I mean, we can go ahead if you want to do it. I'll load it. No, I'll put it in later. I'll put it in later when I'm promoting my podcast.
Okay, perfect. I was just wondering
All
since
right.
we were talking about the pile driver. So after this, we go to footage from last week. Now I'm going to show this, but I want to mention beforehand. Now let's remember, and we talked about it on the show last week. Eric Embry was out here saying it's going to be a Texas death match, and he was going to beat he was going to beat Eddie Gilbert to death. He was going to blood him, and Eddie Gilbert said, "Come on, I like to bleed. I enjoy it." Well, then he must have loved this. Check this out.
Coach referee is down. Untouched Eddie Gilbert continues to beat on Embry. Tojo Yamamoto from the outside, who is down in Embry's corner. Hits Gilbert with the kendo stick, not having much effect at this point. Eddie Gilbert saying, wait a minute, Yamamoto, you've done the wrong thing. You've messed with a man from Tennessee. Look out. Next up, Eddie Gilbert pounds away with a kendo stick. But Eric Embry had time enough to get a second win. Picked up the metal chair. Slams it across the top of the head. And next up, Eddie Gilbert. Embry pile drives Gilbert. Look out! Miss Texas in here with barbed wire. What in the world are they going to do with barbed wire? Oh my gosh! We need to get somebody in here to stop this. Eric Embry is dropping Eddie Gilbert with barbed wire in the center of the ring. Miss Texas pounding away on Gilbert as Eric Embry has the razor sharp barbed wire digging into touched up Eddie Gilbert. Gilbert bleeding profusely as a flamboyant Eric Embry in the center of the ring drapes barbed wire around hotched up Eddie Gilbert.
My God. Now, before we get to the barbed wire, and I mentioned this to BT yesterday too, because this stood out more than anything else on this entire show. The thing that stood out to me the most, I've watched Tojo Yamamoto beat the promoter Jerry Jarrett, his son Jeff Jarrett, from the biggest stars in the company to the lowliest jobbers on the roster, get the living hell beat out of them with that kendo stick. I've never seen him throw a weaker shot than the one he hits Eddie Gilbert in the back. But watch this. If you're watching the video, watch this. It just takes a second.
Coach referee is down. Untouched Eddie Gilbert continues to beat on Embry.
What is that about, I wonder?
In my head, when I saw that, I'm like, Eddie, maybe the deal was he warned him. Look, I'm already getting wrapped up in barbed wire. I don't want to have a fucking stinging ass back on top of that shit. I know how you are. Don't fucking fuck with me, or I'll beat the hell out of you with that thing. Maybe he warned him. Who knows? But
Could
good
be.
God, that BT, when you talk to some more wrestlers that were from this era, find out what that fucking bugle is, dude, or whatever it was. It was back this week. And
I know what it is.
What is it?
It is same thing they use at Arena Mexico. It's one of these. It's a horn. I don't even know how to. I'll have to look it up. But it's one of these. It's a toy horn, and it makes a loud fucking noise, and it annoys the shit out of me. I can't hardly watch Arena Mexico because it's not one in Arena Mexico. It's multiple horns. They sell them at the gimmicks table.
Yeah. Well, either way, I loved this segment. It was perfect. Miss Texas with the goddamn sash on, like wrapping the barbed wire.
She brings the barbed wire.
Yeah. I thought it was a damn cowboy rope for a minute, like a damn
part of the gimmick.
Yeah. And then it's like, that's barbed wire. The goddamn, what's that announcer's name?
Oh, David Webb.
He was fucking great too. And sometimes I get tired of he's firing turn away. Like it's
it's
really
way
wears
too
that.
announcery. Like when every word is pronounced like that, it's too much.
But it was great for that moment though. It was just and really this feud is almost to the point of what are we going to do to top what we have already done? And at this time, FMW was really probably in the magazines. I know a couple of times they were shown here, and everything Onita was doing there, and that was a big deal. Was him getting wrapped in the barbed wire? So you got to wonder. I wonder, did Eddie see that in a magazine? I know he was very aware of what was going on around.
He had already been over there a couple of times by then, so yeah, I'm sure that's exactly where that came from. You nailed it. It's funny because it's almost kind of justified Embry, where it's like Eddie was like, "Yeah, I love to bleed, bring it on," but this is real barbed wire because Eddie's just one hell of an actor. Because like when he wrapped it around him, the first time, like he screamed, he's like, "Ah!" Like he was not having a good time, So it looked like Embry was the one that came through, but also the fact that Miss Texas was the one that introduced the barbed wire and was slapped him in the face. This really gets her over. Yes. As okay, she's not just going to stand in the corner with a sash on. She's going to be a problem. And at this point, she's more vicious than Tojo, because it was almost like the reason I pointed out too that weak kendo stick shot at the beginning is we're almost dialing Tojo back. I didn't show it in this clip, but at the end of this, it's Tojo's one of the people helping call Eric Embry off, whenever Eddie Marlin comes in. So also, like I say, I didn't want to have a big long clip, but this is a Texas death match. Eddie Marlin comes in and stops this thing. Once they wrap him in barbed wire and Eddie's bleeding from stem to stern, Eddie Marlin comes in and stops it, and Eric Embry's wanting to continue on. And at one point, even Tojo's like, "All right, dude, chill." I'm sure it didn't sound like that. I won't try to do a impression of that.
Racist.
But I didn't say it, so it's not.
No, you wouldn't say it because that makes you
Patreon.
racist.
Yeah, wait for Patreon. That's where we do the questionable impressions. But yeah, so we've gotten Eddie Gilbert has gone out of his way here to be the sympathetic babyface. We've seen him bloodied. We've seen him get green mist spewed in his eyes. We've now seen him wrapped in barbed wire. It's a wonder he didn't end up letting Embry hit him with a car, just to really drive all this home here. But I was questioning the same thing you were there, Josh, as far as what more can we do. But my thing is, all right, well, what can you even promote when you stopped the Texas death match? This blood feud is so bad that we had to put them in a Texas death match where it's supposed to be. You just beat someone until they can't continue and answer the count. And then, the star of the show, as we jokingly call him, because he said that in 1993, comes out and shuts it down and kind of makes it about him. So where do we go from here?
Oh, no, he didn't make it about him. He said, Eric had the mic and he says, "This is a Texas death match, man. You can't stop it." He said, "Well, this is Tennessee and I make the rules and I'm stopping it." Like that it kind of made Eddie a shithead in the moment.
Yeah.
Because that if I was there and I was on the front row and I traveled from Jackson to see this shit, and Eddie Marlin comes out there and stops it like that, I am pissed.
And if it was Eddie doing that to Embry, he wouldn't have came out and stopped it. So it makes it look like favoritism. It almost justifies a lot of Eric Embry's bullshit here. So it's a weird dynamic. So afterwards, we get Embry's back out. He's going to cut a promo about the barbed wire thing. And so this is an odd part of all this too. And I want to get you guys' take on this. So Embry comes out and he's cutting a promo that he's going to have a barbed wire match this week with Eddie Gilbert. And Dave's pointing out, well, now, I don't know if you know this, but this ain't just a regular barbed wire match where the shit's going to be wrapped around the ropes. And of course, Embry's like, "I know what a barbed wire match is, man. Don't insult me." So, and at first I was just like, all right, well, maybe Dave thinks there's some confusion here and they're trying to settle it for the fans. And that really may be what all this is about, is just clarifying it to the fans so they're not mad afterwards. But, Embry goes back and forth. Of course, he has to mention that he ended Lawler's career. And Eddie Marlin comes out And then him and Dave are like, I don't think this dummy knows what this match really is. And they're like, yeah, it's going to be, they're each going to have it's going to be like a coal miner's glove, but instead of lead, it's going to be barbed wire wrapped around the glove. And they're each going to have one. And it's going to be a lights out, unsanctioned match. And then Eddie Gilbert comes out. And he's like, I don't think this dipshit understands what kind of match this is. We're going to have, so there's all this talk about how Eric Embry doesn't understand that what they're calling a barbed wire match isn't going to be a barbed wire match. It's going to be more or less not even really like I just said a second ago, the glove, the coal miner's glove, because coal miner's glove is on a pole.
Yep.
But instead, apparently, the way they say this, the damn bell's going to ring, and both these guys are going to be wearing gloves with barbed wire wrapped around them, and they're just going to start wailing on each other. So Eddie doubles down on it. And, of course, throughout this, Dave Brown's been saying Miss Texas isn't a lady. He says that video of her bringing that out there and slapping Eddie Gilbert around proves it. Eddie points out that she's not a lady and says what he'll do to her if he gets a chance. And I don't know. I mean, Eric's booking this. Clearly, he literally knows what kind of match this is. We're not, there's times on Memphis TV where things are literal and they are trying to get people to understand shit. But I mean, if Gilbert's booking it, if Embry's booking it, then he knows. Do you think we're just doing all this? Eric's too stupid to know what kind of match this is, just so the fans know what to expect when they get there, expecting barbed wire around the ropes, and there's not any, that they're in on the joke. We're like, this fucking dipshit Embry thinks they're going to wrap the ropes up, but they're not. This just seemed weird to me. What did you guys think about all that?
Yeah, I was a little disappointed whenever Eddie came out and pointed out what it was, and him and Dave started going into it, because of what Embry was talking about was going to be what I knew at that time to be a traditional barbed wire match. You wrap the ropes, and he says, going to drag his face around across it and all that shit. And it's an awesome match. But yeah, when I found out it was just the glove with it kind of wrapped around, it's like redneck Taipei death match is basically what they got going on. And it kind of took away a little bit of the viciousness of the match, I think. But then, that's when Eddie gets into his promo about it. And I'm pretty sure, doesn't Eric come back out? And
later on, yeah.
Okay. But Eddie gets into it, and he's talking about how he's going to start on one end of Embry and go down and just rip his ass, rip him from head to toe or whatever. So
that's a different show, Josh.
It does sound interesting, even though it kind of brought me down as a fan. Their promos are bringing it back up. So yeah, a little disappointed, but still excited.
I was wondering what the hell happened, because I'm the same way as Gene. I mean, Embry's got to know, unless Embry just made a mistake and told everybody, go back out there and sell what the hell this is. I screwed up. Eddie Marlin coming out was just crazy to me. He said it could end each man's career. He's trying to sell the shit out of it. and in my typos, I wrote, and this is a total different match, guys. I said that Eddie Marlin was trying to say this is a damn coal miner's barbed, and I said barbed wife match. So, man, that would have been something totally different. And then, and then Eddie Gilbert's promo, we have been talking about this. He put one of those little things at the very end about hell's waiting on him or whatever. Gene, I can't do sayings.
Heaven won't take me, and hell's afraid I'll take over.
Yeah, he did that at the he does this fired up promo, and then he has to do some kind of gimmick at the end. I don't know what the deal was with that.
Yeah, because that didn't tie in really with anything he had just said. I had a note here, but I'm glad you pointed that out, because I had a note here saying, once again, Eddie Gilbert cuts what's a really good promo, and then he gets to the end and just tacks on this arbitrary line that's a standard line. Goddamn, Michael Hayes said it more times than anybody. But it's just a standard, usually a heel line. But it's tacked on to a promo that it doesn't really fit into. I don't get it. I mean, I guess you could make a case for some of the stuff he said would tie into this, but it just felt like I say, over the last 2 or 3 weeks, I'm like, all right, yeah, we got a good promo going here. Chef Boyardee, like, what? Where did that come from? And then last week, he was like, we're going to be the first ones to attack. We're going to be on it's going to be just like the Secretary of State going to, like, whoa.
Oh, he said something else.
Saddam and the war. He
when the
did
Top Secret does a promo, he says something.
And that's why I didn't include the promo in the show. I was going to actually put, as I got some of the promos from Dundee and Danny and all them, I was like, and then he said that, I'm like, I don't even want to show this on the show because it's just so random.
I loved it though, because I remember this. That stood out to me as an 8-year-old kid. I went back to school that Monday. I remember this shit. And I said that exact line because I thought it was so badass. I'd never heard it before. But, like I said.
In 91, that's understandable, I guess. Yeah. But
it stood out to me as an 8-year-old for sure. Badass.
I think Michael Hayes closed probably half his promos in Texas with that back in the day. But I really wish when Eddie Marlin came out there and said, this could end both guys' careers, I wish Eric Embry would have come tearing out there right then and go, if you don't stop it, if I start whipping Eddie Gilbert's ass with this barbed wire glove, are you going to stop it again? Are you going to stop it like you did last week? Because as a fan, that's what I'm going to be sitting out there thinking. Like, well, no, you didn't let it end Eddie's career last week because you came and stopped it. Is that what you're going to do for him this week? So I guess we'll wait and see. If I hope we have clips of this next week, because I get the glove on the pole. You have a match. You're each trying to get to the pole and get the glove and then use it. And even if you both get a chance to use it at different times, each gets a chance to sell it. But if each of you have that glove on one of your fists, how do you, I mean, ain't like you can just sit there and punch it out with, back and forth, and neither one of you have time to sell it properly. And you really don't have to, because if he's hitting you with his glove, you can just hit him with your glove and that cancels it out, right? So it's going to be an interesting psychology to that match. I really hope we get to see enough of it to kind of figure out what they did with it and what they have in mind. And I feel like if we don't see a clip of it, we're going to know it didn't happen the way they wanted it to. And there's a reason this match never comes up again, as far as I know, throughout Memphis history. I don't remember hearing of another one of these matches, and probably for good reason. I do want to point out real quick right here, I've talked about this on other podcasts in the past. The first barbed wire match I ever saw was live and in person at a Continental show in Columbus, Mississippi. And it was Austin Idol, who was the babyface at the time, taking on Eddie Gilbert, and they had built it up on TV for 2 or 3 weeks. And so Hot Stuff starts playing. We're sitting out there. We got front row seats, and Eddie Gilbert comes through the door of the dressing room, and he comes out. He's got Heyman with him, and he has got on blue jeans. He's got on at least 2 or 3 T-shirts, 2 different sweatshirts, and a big bandana around his head. I mean, to the point he's almost walking like this. He's got so much shit on. And then Austin Idol comes out wearing just a cut-off, T-shirt, as he does, and some blue jeans. But the story of the match is Austin Idol tries to run Gilbert's body, his arm, his chest, and everything into the barbed wire. And it's not having any effect, so he has to tear off a layer of clothes. And we just worked through that. So the psychology of the match was working through all these different layers of clothes until he finally gets them all down to where Eddie doesn't have a shirt on. And then he runs his head in, which in the beginning, you're just like, well, pull the bandana off and run his head in there. But no, we're telling a story here. So eventually, Eddie gets in the barbed wire at his back, his head, and everything. But I thought that was pure genius. I've never seen that done in a barbed wire match where somebody comes out wearing all these clothes to effectively negate the barbed wire completely. So
let me just raise my hand and say I did the same thing. I had one barbed wire match against my ex-wife, but no, it wasn't at the house. She was a wrestler, so
I don't think you really call that a match. I don't know what the cop said in the report, but
I was fully clothed. The only thing that I did blade my arm, so like I did the Dusty Rhodes and bladed, or Abdullah, ever who was blading their arm at the time. I bladed my arm and got blood there, but nowhere else on my body did I. And that barbed wire was real, and it just grabs you is all it does. It don't really hurt. I mean, I had a couple of puncture. Tell Sabu barbed wire don't hurt, but
yeah.
but that's the only blood I got was from me doing it to myself. So
Okay. Well, this next match, I know that BT has some things to talk about, so I thought we'll actually just, it's cool with y'all, we'll just watch this match.
Thought he had him going for.
All right, BT, we
All
got
right.
Dr. Tom Prichard taking on Jack Diamond. What do you know about Mr. Jack Diamond?
Well, the few things, if you look at his tights, it says the Diamond Exchange, and the Diamond Exchange, his tag team partner, I don't know, right around this time was a guy named the BT Express. So he was my tag team partner. Went to high school with him. His name was, his legit shoot name was Jackie Hicks. Big guy. I heard him one time almost 100 yards away hit a guy in the face on the playground. You heard the pop, and they tried to sue Jack because the guy had all kinds of dental work he had to do. Jack has a very, I guess, a trivia note about him. He's rest in peace, Jack. But his nephew was one of the kids that were killed during the West Memphis 3 murders.
Oh,
His
wow.
nephew.
Holy shit.
So, and he believed, like everyone else did, that the West Memphis 3 had done it at first. Then he believed that his brother-in-law had something to do with it, the Byers man.
Oh, yeah.
And him and the Byers guy got into a fight, and the Byers guy shot him.
Holy shit.
It shot him. It hit him in the stomach, and they wouldn't remove the bullet because it was too close to something in the bowel. So they didn't remove the bullet. And then he went to the hospital, and I talked to him like 2 days before he died. And he was like, Jack was real Southern. He was like, "Hey man," he said, "I'm just sitting around in the hospital." He said, and they had told me that he couldn't use the bathroom, so I was nice enough to tell him what was wrong with him was he was full of shit, blah, blah, blah. And what had happened is the bullet, somehow they tried to fix it, but it never did. It ended up, it was burst like a appendix did, and he had a sepsis. Is that what they call it? Sepsis?
Yeah, sepsis.
Sepsis. That he had it in his body, and he passed away like within 48 hours of me talking to him. But just a crazy guy, man. I mean, this match, Dr. Tom's just putting him to the mat, doing it. But man, you go into a bar with this man, and you would end up getting in a fight with somebody that had nothing to do with you. He would just pick somebody out that he knew he could. And at one time, him and this other guy named DW had these tag belts. Remember, they didn't have tag belts where you could just buy them all over the place at the time. And they wanted me to defend the title belt because DW Diamond wasn't ready. So I said, sure, I'll defend the belt. So we ended up defending the belt like, I don't know, 3 shows. We even did a promo, like an angle at a Chamber of Commerce. I don't know. I don't even know how that happened, but we did it. And come to find out, him and DW had went to St. Louis to a jewelry store and had somebody make belts. These weren't even real belts. I was out there defending belts I thought was from some kind of promotion in St. Louis, but they had made them. And it was just funny being around him. Jack was a good guy. He was his own worst enemy, really, because probably after this match right here, he probably bitched constantly about how Dr. Tom didn't give him anything and blah, blah. Dr. Tom should have gave him some moves. And but you will see him. I think he tags with Tex Salinger at one time.
Oh, okay.
I think. And then they have matches with Fuller and Jarrett.
Dennis Knight.
Yep.
So one quick question here, inquiring minds want to know: did Byers get off with some kind of self-defense for shooting him?
No, he didn't press. Yeah. Jack didn't even press charges against him.
Wow.
Yeah, because Jack felt like, he kind of might have provoked it too because he went after him.
Yeah, I got you.
But
wow,
yeah, it was really weird. It it was a crazy time in Jack's life when, his nephew and everyone thought it was the West Memphis Three. And then it kind of turned to the Byers guy. And I don't know if they ever really settled all that, but I do know that Jack, when he died, believed it was the Byers man. So
those documentaries were, strange because you could watch like the second one and be totally convinced it was the Byers guy. And then the third one, when time you got done with it, it seemed like it was the one kid's stepdad that definitely did it. And Byers was even saying it was the stepdad.
Yeah. Jack's in the first documentary.
It was fascinating.
Yeah, it was. It was a bad time for the family. I went to school with Jack. I went to school with Jack's sister, the mother of the baby. Just crazy times. Jack and DW were just DW was really funny and a good guy, but really didn't know anything about the wrestling business. But Jack was a good guy. But yeah, I'll be interested to see. I was just shocked because there was my, one of my high school friends and my tag team partner there on TV. So it was fun to see him wrestle.
Well, that's cool. I know you said you had some interesting stuff to tell, but I did not expect to hear that he had ties to the West Memphis 3 case. So that's
spoiler alert. He gets a lot bigger as time goes on. So Jack liked the enhancement. Just put it that way. So
oh, I got you.
He gets big.
So after this match, we hear from Dr. Tom Piper, and he trashes Jarrett and Fuller, and he's putting over Texas, and says people from Tennessee are backstabbers. And Dave just can't help himself. He has to correct him at the end, pointing out Texas is not the biggest state. Alaska is. Lawler had even said that a couple weeks ago. Dave just had to say it. And then we hear the lineup for Monday night. Of course, we'll talk about that a little later. And then we see clips from last week's Texas Brawl, and I started to do a clip of this, but it's just a bunch of brawling. It's exactly what they call it. It's Texas Brawl. For some reason, they decided to leave in a clip of Robert Fuller being thrown to a table, and he just kind of walks over and pats it with his hands. It makes that stick shot from Tojo look brutal. But for some reason, it makes the cut of things they show from that match. But it's chaos. And because of that, this week's Texas Brawl rematch is going to be inside of a steel cage. So that should be fun. Texas Brawl in a cage. We'll talk about it a little bit later. But this time, Jeff Jarrett and Robert Fuller come out for a promo. And Jarrett says that, as he does every week, he points out that he and Fuller had their differences, but they've united to fight against Texas. And this week, they have promised that if they lose their match, and what's funny is one of the Texas Hangmen is having a singles match with Bill Dundee with a bunch of stipulations involving Jamie. And the other Texas Hangman is teaming with Tom Prichard against Jarrett and Robert Fuller. Jeff Jarrett has said if they lose this match, they'll disband the team. They'll be done as a tag team. And Robert Fuller chimes in. He tells a story about a horse named Dempsey that used to bite a plug out of you, Dave Brown. And then he, as he does every week, he goes on to tell us how this kid's turned into a man, and he's tough as nails. And he says their Tennessee pride makes them unbeatable. And he says, yes, that if they lose, they will disband, but that's not going to happen. So I didn't clip this one. It didn't quite live up to last week's, but it was still an enjoyable promo. I don't know. Just the sight of these two out there together, it's one of those odd couples in wrestling that just, you can't explain why, but it works. And I enjoyed it. But what did you guys think of this promo? I hope Josh has a take on the Dempsey story.
Oh yeah. I know I keep talking about it, but as a kid, I remember that this promo, this whole show really, but a lot of the bullet points, this promo specifically was one that really stuck out to me because he makes a point, like you said, if we lose a match, we're done. The team is disbanded, it's over. So from this point moving forward, that always stuck in my mind, and I was like a nerd with it, and I would always make sure did they lose? Are you saying that's what I wanted to know? And they have a fucking hell of a run in the future. But yeah, the Dempsey story, Dempsey, I think he said was the name.
Dempsey.
It's like the Eddie Gilbert thing you're talking about, where he's like adding this shit at the end of his promo that kind of doesn't really tie in. I struggle with the Dempsey story of how that tied in to Jeff Jarrett, because he ultimately just said that, yeah, Dempsey used to own a motherfucker and bite a plug out of your ass, and then, you know, you do whatever, but when come race day, I own Dempsey's ass. That's what he said. And then, you know, just like Jeff, I don't know how you own Jeff. I don't know how this is.
It makes it sound like on match day he beats the shit out of Jeff to do what he wants. I mean, because that was the implication of the story. Dempsey didn't know how to act, so he got on him, and as he put, you get on him with that wire, and you make him do what you want, and then I'm in charge. And he goes, it's just like with Jeff Jarrett. And I'm like, wait a minute, you whip the shit out of Jeff Jarrett the day of the match so that he does what you need him to do. That's what it sounds like.
You're the best kisser, Jeff. I heard
it. Come over here and prove it, boy.
I just love Fuller on the screen, guys. I'm a huge mark for Fuller. I feel like us doing this podcast brought me huge mark for Steve Keirn and Robert Fuller both. So again, I've always liked Robert, but just these babyface interviews, which I do remember him and Jarrett being a huge babyface team. But as soon as he comes on the screen, I'm smiling, knowing there's going to be something there where you either scratch your head or laugh. So
I love this robe right there too. I don't know if that's one of Ron's that he jacked after Ron retired, but it's perfect for him.
Going over during Christmas raiding Ron's closet.
Hell yeah.
This one will go fit good down there.
It's like you and Richard raiding your Uncle Danny's wrestling bag. He's just over there. Sylvia calls a distraction.
This is how you save money in the wrestling business.
Go put this in the truck.
He said, ha ha, and Jeff was standing right behind him. Ha ha.
Said, oh, I like that.
I like that. Ha ha.
Oh yeah. So then they have a tag team match against the Scorpions. So we've had the Scorpion around as a jobber. Now there's a second Scorpion. And, these guys, kind of like with Eddie Gilbert, Robert Fuller doesn't hide the fact that he'll do whatever he needs to do. So when it comes down to it, the referee's kind of distracted, intentionally or not, by Jeff. So what does Robert Fuller do? He pulls out a pile driver, which is, of course, illegal, but the ref doesn't see it. And that's how we get our win. And we're sending the subtle message to Texas Hangmen, Killer or Psycho, whichever it is, and Tom Prichard that, by God, Robert Fuller will do whatever it takes to get the win, even if it means cheating. So I like that. I think I love when they don't just have a guy completely change his spots and he doesn't all of a sudden play it by the book just because he's teaming with a good guy now. His motivation is he loves Tennessee, not that he loves the fans or loves the rules. So
he loves Jeff Jarrett too now.
And he loves Jeff Jarrett because he's a tough son of a bitch, and by God, he'll make him do what he needs him to do when it comes time.
Yeah.
So they pull out a win. Then we get our local promotional announcements, Germantown fundraiser we've been talking about for weeks. Eddie Gilbert's hometown return in Lexington with the kickboxer or whatever it is we've got. Newport, Arkansas, Jonesboro, Arkansas, Kennett, Missouri, or as Michael St. John says, Kennett. Then we talk about a chicks baseball charity game featuring the good guys versus the bad guys.
I love that.
I always have to say it the way Vince McMahon said it.
That Memphis Chicks GM was about as charismatic as
the
doctor, huh?
Man, you ain't kidding. I started to get a clip of that. I was like, good Lord. Was he doing
we might have fallen asleep on that one. At least he wasn't reading it, looking off to the side.
No, he wasn't reading it. It was from the heart. But good Lord. So that brings us to our main event / expiration of time match. Check out Dundee styling here. Look at this. I don't know if I remember.
Yeah.
I don't remember if I remember seeing Dundee in this outfit again after this for a while. Dave even points it out.
I immediately thought, I was like, okay, he has a fucking big problem with Macho Man. So what does he do? He immediately dresses like him during his era. I love it.
Yeah.
Because Macho was legit dressing just like this, a little more flashy, but the whole shirt, long tights combo.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, look great.
Those really are some cool looking
Texas
masks the Hangmen are wearing.
With that, yeah.
Hey, and did you notice they were wearing white masks for the fucking Texas Brawl during the playback there? And the blood coming out, that looked great.
Oh yeah, it did. That was awesome.
So you said something about wearing that in Texas, and I think I remember that too. I got footage a while back of. I put it on the Facebook where I know Uncle Danny was in Japan wrestling, and then there was one like Dundee was in Japan. I know he wrestled like Chaz Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
Bill's wearing some kind of outfit that looks like something Kane would wear, and I don't know that I ever seen him wear it on any indie show and on TV for USWA or anything. But I swear it looks like he's wearing like a Kane outfit. It's cool looking, but I don't know if he forgot his bag and somebody in Japan loaned him.
That's probably what happened. Yeah, or his bag got lost. Yeah.
Because I've never seen him wear it before or since, but it worked for him. He made it work. But the Hangmen jumped Dundee and Davis before the bell, and man, we're off and running. And so I was excited when I saw this match. I mean, I knew there's no chance in hell we were going to get a finish, but I thought it'll be an enjoyable match up until that time. The Hangmen get a lot of heel heat in. They're choking and pulling hair and double teaming. Uncle Danny starts fighting from underneath in the closing stretch of the match. Dundee gets the hot tag, and then it breaks down all four men in the ring. And of course, eventually this brings Embry and Prichard out. But instead of the forever and a day with them just getting their brains beat out, we actually get some help in there as Eddie and Jarrett and Fuller and everybody charge the ring and pretty much put a stop to that. And the referee has to just throw it out entirely due to all the chaos. And that leads to one last big promo to show unity amongst the Tennessee crew. I clipped out Dundee's part, and I clipped out, of course, Nightmare Danny Davis's part, because there's a part of it that made me very, very happy. I think you can guess what it is, but let's take a look at this.
We've got a bunch that's together right here. Here's Bill Dundee to talk about it.
That's right, Dave. Hey, Embry, you don't have to wait. You don't have to wait to have no Texas Brawl or Texas Fight Tennessee. You could have done it right now. But no, you know why you didn't? Because the odds wasn't in your favor. It was even, brother. It was even. Well, it's going to be the same thing. It doesn't matter where, brother. Monday night, Jack, we taking you and your whole stinking Texas bunch out. And I got a little word for you, JC Ice, baby. When I beat that hangman of yours, I get to whoop your honey. But I ain't going to spank you, brother. I'm going to knock you out because I've had you too. Yeah, exactly right. Anytime you put the superstar Bill Dundee and the Nightmare Danny Davis together, anything can happen. Well, let me tell you something. Next week, when we have you guys in a cage match in a Texas Brawl, anything goes. And everybody saw that if I can get something in my hands, a chair or a stick, I don't play. So all you boys got to do is bring the Texas bunch down, and the Tennessee bunch is going to come out on top.
Yeah, baby. I don't play.
So it's not a one-off anymore. It's official. In case you motherfuckers forgot from a couple of weeks ago.
I don't play.
Damn right. He don't play.
Hey, I want to make a note on this match. I thought it was like a perfect psychology match. If you're a brand new wrestler and want to watch psychology, really good. They did dives outside the ring, which I was popping for. They also mentioned do-si-do. And I guess I'm one of those guys that I guess I thought that was an inside term or something. I don't remember them saying it on commentary, but they probably did a million times. So I had to look up do-si-do. It's one of those things where we used it a lot when my two tag teams were going against each other. That was a beginning a lot. If we were in a town for the first time, I'd tell them, let the heels jump in. Yeah. And it's a square dance reference, but it's actually from France. The term means back to back. Most commonly seen as square dancing and what they call contra dancing. I'm not sure what that is, where two dancers face each other, pass back to back, and then return to their starting positions. That's a fun fact with BT, brought to you by. There we go. But I thought
fine furniture.
Yep, I thought it was really neat seeing them do it and called it do-si-do because we always used that a lot on independent shows in 5 years that I did it. So
in gym class in junior high, we had to take so when you took PE, there was different dumb shit they had you do, and there was always a semester where you had to learn square dancing.
Oh wow!
And our PE coach was actually the head basketball coach for the high school basketball team. He was 6'9". He's a 6'9" black guy named Roy Hazel. And he talked really slow like this. It's like Black Bubba Skinner from In the Heat of the Night. And I don't know how he coached because he would never. He couldn't have said anything fast because he didn't get excited about anything. But for years we laughed because he was like, "All right, today we gonna be square dancing out here, and I'm gonna teach y'all how to do-side-do. Does anybody here raise your hand if you know how to do-side-do? None of you? That's what I thought. Well, when you leave this class today, you're going to know all about how to do-side-do." Man, me and my friends around saying do-side-do for 2 years after that. We thought that was the funniest shit in the world.
My college instructor for PE, when you was in a community college, you had to get 2 PE credits to actually get an associate's degree. And so I did badminton. Yes, I did badminton and bowling. And both times it was the same instructor. And she said both the first day, well, I'm going to teach everybody. She said how to plays badminton and how to plays bowling, she said. And I was like, man, I have never heard anybody say plays badminton in my life, especially not plays bowling. But she was actually a really, really good bowler. Badminton, it was just us running around hitting the
teach y'all about the shuttlecock.
The shuttlecock, yeah. I taught some guy across the street taught me about the shuttlecock when I was younger. So I don't know
well, that's Patreon, Brian. We're still on the regular show.
My bad.
You got to love that Bill Dundee said he was going to spank or get a hold of his hiney, but he wasn't going to spank him this time. But a Bill Dundee promo using the word hiney, that was something. Of course, you didn't see it there, but we got another word from Jeff. We got another word from Robert Fuller. We got another word from Eddie Gilbert, who closes out with the Saddam Hussein reference that you mentioned earlier. But the key is they are unified. It's going to be unity going into this big Texas Brawl cage match. And, of course, Eric Embry is not going to let them have the last word. He comes charging out, claims he is King Kong. He's tougher than Superman. And I didn't point this out, but earlier, as we ran down the card for this week, and I still don't really know exactly where this comes from, even though, Embry refers to it here. We got Steve Kearns back on the card for Monday night. We thought maybe he was being written off last week, but he's not. He's back on the card. He's in a one-on-one match with Steve Austin. Then there's this lights out added match at the end of the night after already being involved in all this other shit. We're going to have Steve Kearns versus Eric Embry in a lights out match. Close out the card.
So I'm going to make up what happened, all right? So he had one more date to do in Memphis. He had already told him he would do it. He came back from Florida and did it. They replayed that angle, and then Steve Kearns was on the McDonald's. Sound like he was talking to the McDonald's order. Yeah. But this is, I look through the results, it looks like this is his last show, this Monday night coming up. So he went home that Saturday, last Saturday, and went back to Florida for the week, and then came back, was planned to come back to finish up on Monday night. I didn't see any results from Tuesday, Wednesday, the run. So I wonder if he hit all the other towns. But I do know this looks like the last Monday night he's at.
Yeah, I guess he was down in Florida. He went to Jackie Fargo's house and used that same CB radio. Yeah, I totally forgot. I meant to get a clip of it. I forgot. He's there. Oh, we're down there in sunny Florida down there. And I was thinking
quarter pounder.
All I could think about was Memphis, and I'm coming back to Memphis. And of course,
it was the little communities payphone that they have in the center.
And he always has a stab about Memphis and him. He always has to make sure that everybody knows he loves Florida, and he's just down here just doing everybody a favor kind of thing.
92 degrees here on the beach. I'm looking at the ocean right now.
I mean, I remember how like Billy Jack Haynes had such a hard on for Oregon. He would always have it like on his tights and he'd have it on his jacket and all this shit. I'm surprised Kern didn't have Florida across every bit of his gear that he wore. Embry claims that he did not order the Hangmen to attack Kern and pile drive him on the floor, but we don't believe that. He acknowledges that he does understand what the barbed wire glove match is and that he's going to rip Eddie
I'm the booker, damn it. I'm the booker. I get it. I get it.
Says he would take on the entire city of Memphis in a cage. He literally runs the show out of time, preventing a second fall of the tag team match from happening. And Dave Brown ends the show saying that Embry's bluffing and that he's definitely scared of this barbed wire glove match that he's got coming up against Eddie Gilbert. And so ends the show. And now we are ready to head for Texas Brawl 2, the cage match. First, let's take our podcast commercial break. Then we will return. We'll hear what the entire card is, and then we'll see what you guys thought about this week's show and whether or not you're going to go back to the Pipkin building for another week of action.
Tired of the same boring wrestling podcast? Need something with attitude, chaos, and maybe just a little cussing? That's stspod.club, and we got it all covered. We got wrestling weirdness with WTF News Desk, 5-minute time limit, and the Southern Fried Brain of me, BT, steering the whole ship. We also have rolling into Mempho every week about the current Memphis wrestling. Interviews, hot takes, and wrestling outrageousness so wild it might get you banned in 12 states. That's right, it's SDSpod.club or search all podcast catchers for Shooting the Shiznit, where wrestling podcasts grow chest hair. Not sure what that meant. Love my mama.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling, the podcast that's based on the old school but can still help you find the good stuff from today. Jimmy Street and the Plastic Chic, Jarrett, are the undisputed tag team champions of the wrestling podcast world. From thought-provoking topics to superstar interviews to action figure expertise. This team does it all, and all they ask is, give me back my pro wrestling! Every other Thursday, wherever you listen to podcasts.
Hey guys, Ray Russell here. Lots of new stuff happening here at WrestleCopia. If you haven't checked out our website at WrestleCopia.com, it's a great way to keep up with the latest episodes of all of your favorite Copia programming, from the Wrestling Memory Grenade to Regional Wrestling with the Territory Talk, the Wrestling Stoop with the legendary Bob Roop, and of course all of those programs also available at your favorite podcast streaming platforms. And if you want to stay up to date with everything going on in the Copia world, all the latest news, random thoughts, fun videos, pictures, and more, make sure to join the more than 33,000 followers over at Facebook.com/Wrestling Grenade. Don't be left out. And last but definitely not least, it's what keeps the entire machine going. I'm talking about Patreon.com/WrestleCopia. We appreciate your support in helping us pay the bills to keep the WrestleCopia Podcast Network running and enabling us to continue to bring you all the quality programming that we offer.
All right. Right now, let's throw it over to Dave Brown and hear what's happening this week at the Pipkin Building.
USWA action begins with a little people's match. We hope to have these folks on television next week, but they're definitely going to be at the Pipkin Building Monday night. Karate Kid will be going against Little Tokyo. Always entertaining wrestling action from the little people, and that'll be the opener. Following that, the superstar Bill Dundee will be going against one of the Texas Hangmen, Killer, with J.C. Ice in his corner. Now, look at the stipulation on this. If Bill Dundee wins the match against Hangman, he gets 5 minutes with J.C., Jamie Dundee. On the other hand, if the Hangman wins, then J.C. gets 5 minutes with Bill Dundee, and Bill has his hands tied behind him. That should be something to see. Dundee against the Hangman Killer, J.C. Ice in Killer's corner. That is the second match Monday night. Following that, Steve Kern will be going against stunning Steve Austin. A couple of big guys in there and a couple of good athletes going against each other in a single match. Robert Fuller goes against, or rather teams with Jeff Jarrett. Now, Tom Prichard can be out here complaining about that pairing all he wants to. Maybe he's a little worried about the toughness of those two, as Jarrett and Robert Fuller are together against Hangman Psycho and Tom Prichard. Tojo Yamamoto will be in their corner. Then, boy, that barbed wire match that we've been talking about. Embry says he doesn't mind. He signed the match. He knew it's a barbed wire match. But as Eddie Marlin said, I don't think he understands the situation. This is not a situation where the ring is enclosed in barbed wire. As Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert correctly pointed out, it's a situation where you've got a big glove on your hand with barbed wire wrapped around the outside of it. Barbed wire match, Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert looking for a measure of revenge against Eric Embry, who will have Miss Texas in his corner. She, of course, as you saw on videotape earlier, got involved in that last match. Gilbert may be looking for her, too. Look out for this one Monday night. Then following that, a Texas brawl. It's going to be in a cage. In a moment, I'll show you why it's going to be in a cage. And in this one, Eric Embry, Tom Prichard, Steve Austin, and Texas Hangman, the Texas bunch, will be going against the Tennessee bunch, Jeff Jarrett, Robert Fuller, Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert, Superstar Bill Dundee, and Nightmare Danny Davis. The Texas brawl, but this time they're going to put it in a cage. That's not all. Special added lights-out match. That's right. Steve Kern, the Gator, will be going against the flamboyant one, Eric Embry. As we pointed out earlier, he's undefeated. He's the Texas heavyweight champion. This is a non-title match. Anything could happen because it's a special added lights-out match.
The Gator taking on flamboyant one. Well, there you have it. They're going to be a little people's match, as Dave called it.
Little people's.
It's been speculated before, I think, by old Richard Lee, that Dave was more in tune to political correctness during that time period, which would have made him like an alien in this, in this area. But yeah, that puts the stamp on it. Even back then, he was called it. The fucking Chiron said midget man match.
Yeah,
he will not say midget. He won't say it.
Little peoples. I like they added the S to the end,
like Sonics. And
yeah,
Pipkins.
like
what the Pipkins plays. We're gonna be
peoples.
plays and bad bitten.
So Monday night, May the 6th, back at the Pipkin Building in Memphis. Was there any kind of attendance or dollar figure amount on this one, BT? I didn't see one.
Yeah. 700, again, around 700 people.
All right.
Nice. I'll make a quick note about the night before. It's crazy how many guys. There was 918 people at the Sportatorium. It was $5 for Cinco de Mayo. But Embry, Jeff Jarrett, Tom Prichard, Tojo, who else? All of those guys were right there. I guess like we say, got on the bus and drove to Memphis to do the tapings. They also made a note, Dave did, that as we talked earlier, but that match where Lawler beat Embry aired today, the day this aired, in syndication on Memphis television. So even though Lawler's injured, he's still wrestling on USWA. You want to go over the results, or are you going to do it?
No, you can if you want.
All right. Little Tokyo beat Karate Kid, by the way. Little Tokyo yelled at my mom one time at wrestling and told her she had stole his flip-flop.
Did she?
No, she didn't. Now, I want to tell you the finish of this match. Little Tokyo beat Karate Kid when Tojo threw salt. Just love that.
Sticking up for his
Why would Tojo not be with Little Tokyo?
Oh, no, I just love it. I can just imagine seeing Little Tokyo and Tojo, because Tojo was a small man, too, so it's hilarious. Dundee beat Hangman Killer to earn 5 minutes with his son, JC Ice. Dundee was beating on him for 3 minutes when Ice Baby ran off for count out. Kern pinned, here's the name, Jeff Gaylord. In the first match, Kern wrestled. Fuller and Fuller.
Is it mentioned? Has Steve Austin moved on to WCW at this point, or he just no showed
I don't
this
know.
show?
Well, he's not on any of the other shows, and we had made note a couple weeks ago he was headed to WCW. So, Fuller and Davis beat Hangman, Psycho, and Prichard. But after the match, both of the Hangmen hung Fuller over the top rope. I don't know where Jarrett was. Eddie Gilbert beat Embry via DQ in a match where both men wore gloves with barbed wire on them.
How does that match in a fucking DQ?
I'm fixing to tell you. Tony Anthony interfered and attacked Eddie Gilbert, which at least should guarantee, Dave says, guarantee at least one good match per show. Kern beat Embry via DQ in a lights out match when, I don't know. And Kern and Fuller and Dundee and Davis beat Embry, Prichard, and Hangman. Maybe this was when, maybe they got it mixed up, but this might have been when Jeff had that wreck. No, Jeff was in Friday. He was in Dallas, but he wasn't here for this show, so I don't know why. They said some other notes was that former area wrestlers Chris Champion, Tom Burton, and Terry Adonis are doing small time cards in Northern Tennessee and Kentucky for Dale Mann. That's a familiar name for us. And Gypsy Joe, who most recently worked here, is headed to FMW. So there you go.
So there was a card Friday night in Dallas.
Yep.
Okay, so think about this, folks. Friday night, we're in Dallas. We get on the bus, ride all night to do TV in Memphis on Saturday morning. Sunday, they do Dallas for Cinco de Mayo. And then they get to get on the bus and go all the way back to Memphis for, we went back and forth between Memphis and Dallas 3 times.
Did they do Sunday? I don't know. I only had them
You're the one that said the night before, which would have been Sunday. And you said Cinco de Mayo, which would have been the 5th, which would have been the day before this.
It was. I meant the day before Saturday's TV tapings.
Oh, okay.
It's what it was. Yeah, it was Friday night. They didn't go back Sunday to. Yeah,
that's what I was wondering, because you said the day before, and then you said the Cinco de Mayo, which was the 5th, and this was the 6th. I was like, holy shit.
The day before on the. I always like to see that Friday night taping, so we'll see who all shows up for Saturday morning wrestling.
So this card was kind of janky. Steve Austin's replaced by Gaylord. Jeff Jarrett's not there.
Yep.
This is what drives me fucking nuts about Memphis. We have 2 matches. One is a goddamn barbed wire glove match. The other is a lights out unsanctioned match that both end in disqualification. Make that make fucking sense to me.
The only thing is with, Tony Anthony jumping in and being a DQ, but other than that, I don't know why. I don't know what the hell they're doing. So,
and I don't know what happened with I guess it was still a Texas brawl in a cage. You just subbed in Kern for Jarrett and Gaylord for Austin.
Yeah. And Dave made a comment about a Prichard promo. And I don't know if this is a localized promo or what, but I don't remember him saying this. He said Prichard had one of the best lines on TV in a while when he was talking about the midget, Little Tokyo. Even Dave called them midgets. Prichard said he remembered that he held the world's midget title for a long time. Little Tokyo did. And he remembered when he won the title from Bill Dundee. So I don't know if that was a Dallas promo or if that was a Memphis promo or probably a localized promo, but that's what Tom said. Yeah, that Tokyo had won the title for Bill Dundee.
Good job, Tom. That's that redeems some of them Piper impressions right there. So there you go. God damn it! I skipped to we skipped to the card and didn't do the favorite and least favorite thing. So we got to back. I don't know if I'll edit this or if we'll just do it in this order anyway. But what was your least favorite part of today's show?
Mine was the punch. I know why they did it, because Embry is, he's going through that same thing with how do I top what I have already done in terms of being a piece of shit and psychologically relay that and piss you off even more when I've done all this stuff. And him being so vicious, you already are hating him. He comes out and just does a fucking punch. What a bitch move. I remember being so bad, that piece of shit will just do a punch. Like, that just made me mad. Just the notion of that's how this match ends. Like, yeah, and that is what he's wanting. He is a piece of shit. It's working, but I think they could have had a better angle or something going on with it.
Yeah. What was yours, BT?
I guess mine had to be the whole confusion about the gloves and the coal miners match, and I thought that was all kind of silly. But I'm being picky. I was real picky. I thought the show was solid again this week.
Because to me, having a match where you got barbed wire wrapped around a glove and it's not even on a pole seems less than, to me, having the whole ring wrapped in barbed wire. And the fact that you just went out of your way to just drive that home for a whole section of the show. Yeah, I agree. I agree with the punch thing too, but yeah, that is just so weird. I thought there was going to be some kind of odd payoff to that somehow, but I don't think there was. It was just oddity. What was your most favorite part of this week's show?
Mine was the big unity ending, for Uncle Danny, Bill versus the Hangmen. Because the few weeks leading up to this week, it seemed like the big chaotic ending was the theme they were going to close out the show with, and it illustrates what they're leading to Monday night. And it seems like a lot of times somebody's going to get a severe ass whipping before it ends, or it just ends chaotically. But this right here, it was so well timed. You get Eric and Tom sliding in the ring exactly with all the other Tennessee guys sliding right in at the same time. They stand up. Everybody's kind of there for a good camera shot. And Dave's putting over the unity between these gentlemen. That's what's going to work, blah, blah, blah. It was just a really feel-good moment for Tennessee.
Mine was a couple things. One, just personal, because I got to see Jack Diamond again. But my main thing, favorite part was we got to see the debut of Miss Texas. I thought that was awesome to be sitting there watching. It reminded me of when we were watching the other seasons and seeing the debut of PG-13. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah, I guess that was my favorite part. But I will say that tag team match, I mean, and you knew it had to end with what we're building to. We didn't need either team to win that one, honestly. But it was a really, like I think you pointed out, BT, the psychology of it. It was just a really solid tag team match. Maybe, I don't know, maybe the best tag team match we've seen on television up to this point in 91. I really enjoyed it, and they had their yellow masks on, and we had been clamoring for that. So that felt like a win somehow for us. And not considering the results, just considering how this show presented it, based on this show, would you have went to the Pipkin building for this Monday night?
Absolutely. I am so hooked into this Tennessee, Texas thing. And, we've talked about it before. How do you top what you had last time? And how do you keep people intrigued and wanting and caring about this battle? And it's working.
I agree. I would have went. I want to see this. I want to see them put them all in a cage against each other. I'm invested into the Texas-Tennessee feud. At this point, I was a smart fan. I knew everything about wrestling, but I really would like both of these teams. I like the stuff that's going on with Embry, and I also like the heel. Just saying, I like the heel team and the baby faces, and this roster is just so damn good with with Tony Anthony coming in. We mentioned Doug was coming, but I don't know if Doug shows up yet. So, but good stuff.
Yeah. Somebody sent me a clip, and I know we had kind of talked about this and was all kind of staying away from it. But since one of the patrons sent it to me and asked for my opinion on it, and I went ahead and watched it, and I was kind of glad I did because we're kind of already past this. But it's a clip with an interview with Eric Embry, and he's talking about his time in Memphis and specifically how he got along with Lawler. And he said the first major friction between him and Lawler was like that first or second match they had in Memphis. Lawler wanted to beat him. And Eric's like, we can't build heat like that, man. If we come in here and we start all this shit for 2 or 3 weeks and now you beat me, it's dead. And Lawler's like, no. I established that I can beat you, that I'm better than you. And then you guys start cheating to beat us. That is the heat. And Embry's like, no, the heat is they want to see you beat me. Once they've seen it, they've seen it. And he said that they went back and forth on that and fought pretty hard to the point that Embry told Jarrett, like, if this is what we're going to do, I'll just go back to Texas and say, like, this ain't going to work. And if he can come in here and veto my booking, then I'm not booking, I guess. And so Jerry actually backed Embry, and he won the match. And, or I don't know that he won, but Lawler didn't beat him, And we've talked about that moving through this, how that's been a key is the Texans, for once, somebody's keeping the upper hand on Lawler and company. And that's why they're getting so much heat so quickly. And I found that interesting that the only reason that's happening is because Embry stood his ground and fought him on it, or else it would have been like everything else. Lawler would have got a win 3 weeks into it, and this thing would have already been on the downhill slide. So
them details,
I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
And it's some good insight to have right now, because now it's a matter of, well, let's keep watching and see how long Embry can keep this going. I got a feeling it won't be a problem as long as Lawler's not here. But how long will it take when Lawler gets back before he's finally got to get that win somewhere along the way? But if they're going to let him win, let him win. These bullshit disqualifications in matches that shouldn't allow for a disqualification is not doing anybody any real favors, in my opinion. Maybe wins and losses and all that shit really just don't matter to fans. They're there to see the fight. But God, 2 matches that shouldn't allow for a disqualification finish, both ending in a disqualification, just, I don't know, makes my stomach.
Well, they may have picked it up. They had a 1,500 people was at the show. Now they went from 700 to 15 to 750, 725. So I don't know. Maybe people were already getting tired of no finishes or something going on. I don't know. I'd still be down there. I'd be one of those 720 because I'm still digging this view.
I got you. Well, that's it for this week. So let's touch base on what's going on in everybody's world right now. What's happening at stspod.club?
Every day we do Shiznit Minute talking about the current wrestling scene. This past Saturday we did episode 1002. That's wrong. 1004, and that was rolling into Info 247. Memphis is getting ready for Lawler, so apparently they'll do a big angle taping it on the 22nd, I believe it is, but it'll air during Christmas, their Christmas show. Last week we talked about that we had something coming with Bill Rush. I had a real fun time talking with Bill Rush. The weird thing is that it got taken down on Facebook because they said I had nudity. I don't remember taking my clothes off for Bill Rush, but it's a possibility that happened. So if y'all want to go back and watch the video on Rumble or YouTube, you may do that.
I've only heard the audio version. Sounds like I chose well.
I was like, fuck. So I applied and said, no, we didn't do that, blah, blah, blah. But we had the interesting clip that had something to do with our show. We went over and over this. So I did it's a 2-minute clip of the interview. Gene's going to put it up on USWA, I think. But we'll go ahead and watch it right here. This was really fun watching it with him. All right, back from commercial. I want to watch this, and then me and you can set it up with me. You go back in time and just tell me how they talk to you about it and so forth and so on. So, but let's watch it first. I'll try to get the sound muted.
Young kid here gives away lots of weight to either of them.
Well, it's not. Yeah, it's not that. You got Tom Prichard and Eric Embry. If you're not watching the video and you're only watching the audio, this angle.
I see it.
There we go. Oh
man!
I actually said you died. I said, well, Bill's dead.
That was the craziest bump I ever took right there. It was they came, you know, that morning they came to me in the back, and you know, Eric and Lawler was with him, and they said, man, we want to do something different today. You know, and I was like, you know what? And they said, we'll give you a pile driver off the second rope. And I thought about it. I said, okay.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I would have said, okay, and then I would have got my stub and I would have went home.
Man, I mean, yeah, it was scary thinking about it. It was, you know, I'm not going to say I wasn't a little worried, but Eric assured me that he would take care of me. I mean, I'd never had any problems with him. He's always been super nice to me, and I had no reason to doubt his ability. He's a great worker. I mean, you know, him and Tom Prichard both. I mean,
oh man,
you know, stuff happens. Anything could happen. And
sure. Great interview. I had a really good time. He talks, he's real honest about people like Corey Macklin. And then if you listen to the Patreon version, Bill had a nickname that we just absolutely loved, his nickname. And I thought he looked like Randy Savage now. Did y'all see that? He had that? I was like, man, that's Randy Savage. But good, good. Fun time with Bill Rush there. It's on all feeds except the Facebook Live. All right, P3 Radio this week. Oh, by the way, this week, Jeannie and I will be sitting down to do Observing the Observer, which is the look at the Observer Hall of Fame. So the Hall of Fame issue got released will be officially released on Monday, already Monday, since this comes out on Wednesday. But we will be reviewing it, and we'll be getting it up as soon as I get it done. So y'all should have a fun time with that.
Hey, before you move on, I just want to say, I'm going to throw this in on Josh's behalf. I may be wrong, but I know Memphis Wrestling's bringing in Jerry Lawler, but tell Dustin if he will bring Eric Embry, me and Josh will definitely be there to meet Eric Embry.
Man.
Absolutely.
All right. I care 4 out of 5. It don't even get me down there to watch Memphis Wrestling. I hate knowing what happens if I'm going to review it. So I don't watch the live TV tapings. If they have a Saturday show, I'll go down.
That's why, BT. It ain't that you don't leave your house because you're a homebody. It's just because you don't want to get spoilers. Mr. Spoilers don't want spoilers, Josh. Do you buy into that? I don't know.
Not one bit.
Okay. I talked to my therapist about that this week, about leaving the house. So there you go. Maybe we'll get better at it. I care 4 out of 5 hoots is what I put. The podcast always talks about videos, but never gives you the links. Episode 432, not a documentary. Richard's favorite saying is, I'm going to be honest with you. Richard was not really attracted to the Jacksons other than Michael Jackson. Just let everybody know that. The boys think that a good beating as a kid can make you the king of pop. It's what I wrote. Y'all made it.
Michael.
Do what?
So we debated if you were to clone Michael Jackson and not beat the clone, would the clone be as successful as the beaten one that we saw?
So since Richard was attracted to Michael, is he saying he would have shown him his butthole for some of that cash, or
he'd have put a beating on that clone? I'll tell you that much.
They came up with a bit where Jerry Lee Lewis was like a Jason kind of monster. He had his own horror film. Uncle Phil, I don't know if y'all know this, but Uncle Phil did JYD voice and Shredder. They talked a little bit about wrestling video games. One of the best, my favorite wrestling video game was from Japan, and I did a bunch of creative wrestlers with it. It was on a PlayStation, the original PlayStation, and they were all Japanese wrestlers, so I had a Japanese Bret Hart. So there you go. Richard played some music that with Winnie the Pooh singing. They deep dived Winnie the Pooh guy and some sex jokes in that voice. It kind of made me feel uncomfortable. Richard asked a fair question. How do you get a fair question? And Richard said, I got a fair question. And Josh said, how do you get these rides up so quick?
Oh my God. That turned out to be one of his dad jokes hidden.
Yeah.
Damn, that was good. That was real good. Richard read
he got pissed off because he's like, what? And I said, how do they get there? I said it in a real enunciated Southern accent. And he fucked the joke up because he was like, what'd you say? Did you say this? And I was like, no, I said this. And then he kept on and finally had to retell it. So it wasn't as funny.
It was funny though. I got a kick out of it. We talked about AI description of P3 Radio, Facebook drama, which I love watching those train wrecks. I love that. They also talked about insane girls are the best in bed. I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that. Richard thought when he was a kid that there were minnows in pimento and cheese.
Minners.
There was minners in there. Richard also likes the British women. And
Richard would blow a British dude if he thought the cum would make him more British. Like
he loves the accent, and it's funny because I told the wife this week that I can't watch porn when the women have British accents. It totally turns me off. They did one tab, and it was about Josh being naked in a porta potty with blue stuff all over him. So there you go. That was P3 Radio this week.
Well, what was the docking portion of the show this week?
No docking.
What?
No docking.
Yep.
I thought that was an established thing now.
Pulled the plug. Got too many weird emails.
I can only imagine. Yeah. The only alleged straight podcast that talked about docking every week.
Docking experts. Experts.
Oh yeah, and there were some metal band people that was disappointed. He's like, hey, I hear they're talking about docking on this show, and then it's like, oh wait a minute, no, not DOKKEN.
Hey Josh, that was another joke you did that Richard didn't get. So there you go. He didn't get the docking joke. He didn't get.
I think that Richard wants to be the resident comedian, and he doesn't want Josh stepping on.
Maybe that's it
on his thing there, because that fair joke, that's tremendous.
Oh God, it was awesome.
Josh, next time Richard runs a comedy show, Josh could just walk up and do that one joke and just fucking drop the mic, and I'd be like, "Yep."
I rewound it. I said, "I got to hear Richard's voice again when he goes, huh?" You can just tell he was so confused.
He's like, "This mother." All right, so make sure you go over, check out youtube.com/@Retro Wrestling Archive for all the great content we have over there, and there's a lot of it. And again, as we mentioned earlier, please join up patreon.com/Retro Wrestling Archive, or you can join on BT's for a lot of this stuff. BT, what's yours?
Man, don't ask me.
Thank you. All right, that's perfect. Check out substack.com/retro. There shouldn't be an ad in that. Retro Wrestling Archive for all the articles I've been writing. Most recently, I did one on Sputnik Monroe that I'm very proud of. I've been getting some great feedback on that, and it's much appreciated. All of my normal podcasts are going up, and as I mentioned earlier, we're going to have the new WCW Retro podcast coming up very soon. The way that will work, it will go out. It's going to be a watch along. The audio will go out to all the podcast platforms, but if you want to actually watch the shows along with us, you got to join the Patreon. Of course, once again, a reminder, me and BT's Patreon exclusive podcast, the CWA podcast, came out yesterday. It'll come out again, not this coming Saturday, but the Saturday after. And another little fun project that I'm throwing into my regular podcast that me and my buddy Bob that's doing the WCW podcast are doing. We're going to have some special episodes called Jobber Jams, where we're going to go back and listen to old wrestling-related music and analyze it. It's going to be a lot of stuff from the Slam Jam album. We'll talk about the lyrics to the Dustin Rhodes theme song, the Steinerized, and all that good stuff. things like the Wrestle Rock Rumble, Pile Driver, all those good songs. We'll do a couple of songs per episode. We'll play them, analyze them, talk about who wrote this shit, all that kind of fun stuff. Should be a good time. I've been wanting to do it for a long time, just haven't figured out a way to integrate it into a show. And Bob's the first one that bit and said, hey, I'd like to do that. I'm like, all right, well, you're committed now. It's happening. So there you go. That's it for this week. We do
those ride-alongs too. So
oh yeah, we got watch-alongs. BT calls them ride-alongs like it's a police ride-along, but it's actually a watch-along. You can watch it in your car, I guess. It would be a
hush, leave me alone.
But every other Saturday when every other Saturday at 11. Every other Saturday at 11, you're going to have us doing the CWA one. On the opposite Saturdays when the CWA one's not dropping, we'll have these watch-along/ride-alongs drop. We recorded a few of them yesterday with some interesting matches. I think people will be interested in both the match and some of the interesting things that come out in conversation during the course of these as me and BT watch some of these matches. So keep an eye out for that as well. And again, those are on both of our Patreons. Watch it on one, watch it on the other, watch it on both. That would be the preferred method, but we get it. It's tough times for everybody. So we won't look like this if you pick the other one's Patreon. We will be.
We want you to listen. That's about it.
We just want you to listen wherever you listen. But as long as I can give my address and BT don't know his, you don't mind. That's fine. We don't mind. All right, folks, we'll catch you here next week for another episode of the Retro Wrestling Review USWA podcast.
Love my mama.